What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Now, recently there has been a decent trend going around in the Call of Duty community where everybody is trying to make up their minds on what game is better, Modern Warfare 2019 or Modern Warfare 2 2022. And I thought it would be cool to go ahead and bring up that topic, that subject in today's video, discuss my opinions, and then obviously see what you guys got to say in the comment section down below. Now, the way that I personally feel, and keep in mind, it is my personal opinion, please, for the love of God, don't get upset or butthurt over a video that is on the internet about an opinion. Yeah, okay, let's just all have a good discussion here. But again, I understand people love Modern Warfare 2019 in their own ways, but the main thing that I could see that is different from Modern Warfare 2019 to Modern Warfare 2 that helps it stand out from the rest of the crowd is just simply the movement. That is the only possible place that Modern Warfare 2019 shined, in my personal opinion. Everything else, Modern Warfare 2 does way better. Now, again, you have to keep in mind, Infinity Ward makes way different games than Treyarch, okay? So when it comes to movement, how people play, if it's campy, all of that stuff, it's really hard to judge the two games because that's just how Infinity Ward designs their games, Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, Call of Duty 4, they were a lot better, obviously, than what we're playing current date, but they're still a lot more slow-paced and more tactical compared to games like World at War, Black Ops 1, or Black Ops 2, They have always had very distinct styles. So I respect how Infinity Ward makes their games because that's just how it is, When the Infinity Ward cycle comes around, we get games like that. And when the Treyarch cycle comes around, we get more arcadey games. It's fun. It keeps things interesting. But coming from a viewpoint that is very unbiased, I'm trying to stray away from those topics I just mentioned and think objectively about what's in the game, the fundamentals from the core, from the ground up. I just think Modern Warfare 2 is more well put together. Does that mean it's the most outstanding Call of Duty game in the world? That's up for you to decide, but the conversation here is Modern Warfare 2019 or Modern Warfare 2, and I think Modern Warfare 2 is just simply better. Like I said a little bit earlier, the only thing that I think Modern Warfare 2019 has going for it is the movement, and even that, I never really cared for it. It was an interesting skill gap, but it was just something that was way too spammy, way too repetitive, and it just got way too boring in my personal opinion. I like how Modern Warfare 2's movement is. It's a lot more traditional, something like I said, the classics, Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, Call of Duty 4. The only thing the movement lacks in this game is the attachments that reduce, basically everything in the game. All the attachments within Modern Warfare 2019 and Modern Warfare 2 basically kill your overall speed. That is the only thing, in my opinion, that is weighing down Modern Warfare 2 from having just the most perfect movement system, because they basically brought in every old school movement. You can drop shot in this game. You can obviously do your B hop, a traditional 1B hop. You can go ahead and slide if you want to without the slide cancel, and you can also go ahead and dolphin dive. Anything is possible. I think it's actually kind of fun. It's goofy at times, it's corny, but it's also a partial skill gap as well, just like in the previous Call of Duty games. The only thing that's, really holding it back from being like the previous Call of Duty games is the fact that, I can't ADS fast enough when I do try to B-hop. Trying to engage while being aggressive is a little bit harder because I'm so slow. Every attachment you put on your weapon, whether it's a red dot, a suppressor, a grip, anything that will give you any type of benefit in the battle will slow you down overall. And I think that's what's killing the overall movement down to its core. It's the gunsmith system. I love it personally. I like being able to deck out my guns completely, but they have to find a way to balance it out so it doesn't completely kill the overall experience and make it extremely slow paced when you just simply want to go ahead and make your gun a bit better. If you want less recoil, you're gonna have to sacrifice ADS speed. If you want, to be a little bit more silent, you have to, take away ADS speed. It's not even like, the range like how it used to be. And of course, if you want a red dot for better precision, a very tiny little red dot, something that's not heavy at all, that is, of course, like I said, going to absolutely dumb down your ADS speed. That's the only thing holding it back. But if that is the only thing holding it back, I still prefer this movement system way more than Modern Warfare 2019. I think it's just simply better. Again, my opinion. People will share different opinions, so don't absolutely butcher me. But that's just how I personally feel. Same thing when it comes to gunplay. The gunplay in Modern Warfare 2019, in my opinion, felt very good, very punchy, very responsive. I always enjoyed it, even though it was extremely slow-paced. The gunplay was solid, and it's the same thing, if not, slightly improved Modern Warfare 2, so that's partially better. But one of the core things that really pissed me off in Modern Warfare 2019 was the map design. Now, the map designs got better when DLC came out, but my goodness, it took forever to get to that DLC. It took forever to get decent maps in the rotation, and the core maps were just honestly disasters. It was a mess. And Modern Warfare 2, and again, This is all opinion based, but I think the Modern Warfare 2 maps play way better than Modern Warfare 2019. Now, of course, we can all argue all day long until our faces turn blue about if these maps, can compare to any of the OG maps. But at the end of the day, like I said earlier, the conversation is Modern Warfare 2019 versus Modern Warfare 2. And all of the base maps in Modern Warfare 2 are way more playable, at least in my opinion, compared to Modern Warfare 2019. Now, again, the biggest thing holding back Modern Warfare 2 right now is just the lack of content. I can play the maps, I can play the game, but it's just not replayable enough. I get bored in 5 seconds. And personally, there's absolutely nothing to grind for. But at the end of the day, are the maps more playable? Yeah, they're definitely more playable. And anybody that wants to argue that they're not very traditional styled Infinity Ward maps, Infinity Ward, once again, they don't make those very basic 3-lane styled maps. Yeah, they might have a handful scattered across their games. But come on now, guys. COD 4, Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3 all had tons of maps that had, either tons of buildings, tons of windows, tons of camping spots, tons of safe spaces before the word or term safe space was even a thing. It's always been an Infinity Ward style. So again, these maps might not play like a Treyarch, styled 3-lane, very fast-paced styled game, but at the end of the day, does it feel a little bit more like an Infinity Ward title? Yeah, it feels a lot more like Infinity Ward compared to Modern Warfare 2019. I will say probably the biggest mess up when it comes to Modern Warfare 2 is simply the perk system change. It's horrible. It really is just horrible. I tried to give it a little time. I tried to let it settle in, but it just seems so pointless. I understood what they're trying to get out of it, and I understood the style, but when put into action, when put into play with the Call of Duty community, it's really weird. I just want my traditional perk system back. But other than that, Modern Warfare 2 is pretty darn similar to Modern Warfare 2019. They didn't really bother changing any of the core things the community were really pissed off about, but they did do minor, improvements. Map design, they made some improvements, I guess here and there. So at the end of the day, I would say it's better. It's definitely better than Modern Warfare 2019. But is it top notch? Can it compete with the rest of the COD titles? Not in this state. I could see potential. Trust me, I could see it oozing with potential. But the fact of the matter is that skill-based matchmaking will always hold it down. And as long as Infinity Ward holds on to that ego where they don't want to listen to their community and they only care about their own feedback, they're not going to make any good improvements that will encourage anybody to come back and play. And as long as these things keep happening and keep repeating, that is going to be the downfall of the overall franchise. There just simply won't be a COD game that's going to be casually enjoyable anymore. And people will just end up leaving and playing other things. I've been doing that for a while now. A lot of this gameplay, this footage that you're watching here, despite if I enjoy the game or not, it doesn't mean that, I can play. It doesn't mean that it's replayable. I have to bounce. There's nothing in it. They're treating it like it's, an indie game. A free-to-play indie game. It's really depressing to see that this is how they care about 6v6 nowadays. But again, I have to keep reminding myself, and I have to remind everybody else as well, because trust me, I can't tell you how many times I have a very set, specific conversation, and then everybody in the comment section talks about completely opposite points that just, have nothing to do with the video, and it kind of defeats the purpose. So once again, I want to state this again. These are the reasons why I think Modern Warfare 2 is better than Modern Warfare 2019. I'm not saying it's the best of all time. I'm not trying to defend it and say, man, Infinity Ward did a fantastic job. And, I think they did do a good job here and there. But, of course, there are major problems they refuse to address. And there's things that Activision have implemented into the game that just basically make it almost gambling at this point. If supply boxes were still in the game, it would be still considered gambling. But they're trying to, stray away from that term. But still, it's very scummy practices being held in the Call of Duty franchise. And that will always hold it back. But comparing the two games, Modern Warfare 2019 and Modern Warfare 2, it is definitely an improvement. But ladies and gentlemen, like I always say, this is just my opinion of the overall topic. Please go down in the comment section and leave your opinions down below. Everybody, of course, is entitled to their own opinions. I know some people love Modern Warfare 2. I know some people hate it. I know some people, much rather go back to Modern Warfare 2019 and play that game. And if you do, tell me why. I'm curious, because right now, I only know from my perspective. I would love to hear from someone who enjoyed Modern Warfare 2019 on why you personally think that game will outperform Modern Warfare 2 and why you prefer to go back to that instead of playing the current COD. But ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for checking out this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like button. If you hated it, leave a dislike. Also, for brand new enjoy the content, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification button. Also, want to chat with me, this too we do so. I have a Twitter and Discord, both linked down in the description. And also want to catch me live streams of video games over on Twitch. Link that is in the description as well. But guys, thanks so much for tuning in. See you all next one. Peace out.